Hey guys, this last week and a half ish of school, we are going to talk about wilderness survival because this is what we would have done on our camping trip. All right, so you got lost. What's next? And survival isn't always just about getting lost as well. It's if you are on a hike with your friends or family and somebody falls and twists their ankle and your phone doesn't work. What do you do next? So these are just some little tips and tricks and things to think about because now in your life you might not have one of these adventures. However, later on in your life you might go on a week-long camping trip with friends or plan a backpacking adventure through a national park. There's lots of different ways and places and things that could happen to you in your life that you might need to have these skills kind of in the back of your brain. Or even think about if you're doing a cross country road trip and your car breaks down in the middle of nowhere. You don't get cell service. What happens next? I can't tell you how many times I've been driving all of the United States by myself, like driving out to Wyoming every year, and there's hours where I don't have cell service. And that's just how it is. Like, what would happen if I got a flat tire? Just stuff to think about. So, in any survival situation, we're always going to have rules of three, and we're going to go through each and every one of these in this PowerPoint. Okay. So, within 3 seconds, you need a positive mental attitude, you need PMA. Okay. Within 3 minutes, you need air. This doesn't mean you're going to hold your breath for 3 minutes. I'll get to that. Within 3 hours, you need heat. Within 3 days, you need water. And within 3 weeks, you need food. So the first part of this is having a positive mental attitude. So I have a link in here that's all about survival psychology. There's a whole realm of it. Really super fascinating. The military is really, really interested in this, especially with Navy SEALs and that mental toughness aspect of it. And it makes all the difference. If right away you just are like, oh my God, I'm lost. I'm going to die. You're probably not going to, do very well. You need to have a positive mental attitude. Um, just like an anecdote from my life, a couple of years ago, I was doing my second 50-mile race and it was raining, sleeting. 7 miles in, I had massive blisters in the bottom of both of my feet. My back seized up at mile 10, but I finished and ran the last 40 miles of that race because thank goodness I had my best friend with me and she was, just telling me to be positive and it'll all be over and, I can have pizza when I'm finished. And, you need to be that cheerleader for yourself if you don't have somebody else in your group that's like that. So you just need to be positive. Okay. The second thing that we need is air. So we need to control our breathing. I'm babysitting my nephew right now and he totally just woke up. So we might have a baby on screen pretty soon. So you need to control your breathing. If you're panicking, hyperventilating, it's not going to be a good life situation for you. There's a technique called box breathing that is actually used by the military to help calm your breathing. It's breathing with slow counts and then staying put. Most people get rescued within 24 hours. However, and we did this earlier in the year when we were talking about compasses, that people walk in circles. If you are like, I know where I am, and you try to walk somewhere, you're just going to walk in a big old circle and you're going to get even more lost. So, as you are controlling your breathing, this is your time to come up with a plan. Okay, make your plan of attack. The first part of your plan should be heat. So by heat, either retain heat or avoid heat. So if it's a really, really hot day, you need to do things to cool yourself down so you don't overheat and get heat stroke. So some shelters you can build are finding shade or digging down into the ground and laying in a very shallow divot in the ground. It's a lot cooler because of the moisture that's typically in the ground. Some other things we can do for making shelter is make a shelter that's going to keep you warm. I have some pictures in the next page of that. Here on this page, I have some fire starting techniques. So, like those necklaces that I sent you guys, those are flint and steel. Look up online how to use those. Really, really handy tool to have. Up here in the corner, using a TP method in order to make a fire. And then down below, that's actually something called a fire reflector. So if you have a shelter and you're making a fire, if you make a wall of like sticks or rocks on the far side of your fire, it will actually put more heat into your shelter and keep you warmer with less fire or a smaller fire. So here are some shelters up in the corner. We have a typical teepee, little Quonset hut type of thing. And then down below in the corner here, we have that, but now we're covering it in leaves. So this is going to be oh my goodness gracious, I should have thought out what I'm going to say. Just like being back in school. Oh, Joe is crying. It's like Joe Exotic, but a baby. Do you want to see? So this is my nephew. His name is Joe. So very poorly timed name with all the Tiger King and Joe Exotic. But I mean, he's pretty cute because I can like go home when he cries. So that's nice. Yeah. Are you looking at the shelters? Aren't those so fun? I forgot what I was saying. Probably wasn't that important. All right. So the next part of this is water purification systems. So we have iodine tablets. So with iodine tablets, they work pretty well, but they kind of leave a funky taste in the water. So unless you like just don't care. Also, some people are really allergic to iodine. So when you're looking for chemical filtration for water to keep with you, that's something really to keep in mind. The next one, oh, look at my typo there, is a filter. It can work well, but they can be a little bulky. The next one is using fire for filtration. However, you need a vessel for your water and you need to get a fire started. But you can boil water in order to purify it and kill any pathogens that are in it. The next thing you can do is make a solar still, and I have pictures of this on the next page. And the last one is a transpiration bag, which is a pretty cool thing to do. So these are my different pictures. So right above me is a picture of a solar still. You can look these up online. Super, super cool. But basically, what it is it draws, it's a piece of plastic with, and you see there's like a rock in the middle of it or a piece of dirt. And then the bottom, you're going to have another piece of plastic or some vessel to catch water in. And what this does is it uses the heat and the radiation from the sun in order to draw water out of the ground, which is pretty cool. In the opposite corner of that is a transpiration bag. So we know from regular bio that water evaporates off of leaves of trees and plants. So if you tie a plastic bag or a tarp around a plant and like leave it all day, you're actually going to get a bunch of like pure purified water out of that will have no pathogens in it. Okay? And then down below, that is actually a little pump that has a charcoal filter in it that are really, really cool. And there are actually some pumps that, oh, he's pooping. Oh, if this isn't birth control, I don't know what is. You don't want this, kids. He just farted on me. Oh, nasty. But with those water filters, there's also like straws called a life straw. So I would look that up. Those are really, really cool. All right, next one. Dangers with water are definitely pathogens. So they typically say don't drink water if it's stagnant or sitting still. That is very true, but running water is also not safe because you don't know if upstream from you there's a bear pooping in the stream. So just don't drink water that's out in the nature. There are a lot of different pathogens in them. Giardia is one of the most common and one of the worst pathogens that are in that water. And it's a parasite, and it's often called beaver fever because it lives in beavers. And it will give you the thunder poops and the chills and severe dehydration. Um, it's really, really bad. So you can look up Giardia. There's lots of videos online of people that have had Giardia that tell you all their symptoms. It's horrible. It's like the worst stomach flu you've ever had in your entire life. Like you will not stop pooping. The last thing that we need is food. So we learned how to set traps. So you can do that, but also thinking about plants. So not necessarily thinking about protein, but thinking about different plants that we can actually use. However, it is really, really important to know about native edible plants because there are a lot of plants that are not edible that are in certain ecosystems and environments. So it's just really, really helpful to know which ones are, in fact, edible. So the last part of this is being rescued. Okay, so the last part of this is being rescued. So the signal of three is an international sign for distress. So if you make three little fires, put logs in a triangle, blow a whistle three times, so like beep, 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 and then you wait for a couple minutes and then three blasts, that is the international sign for distress. So even if you live anywhere in the world, all rescue agencies know that when there's like those signals of three, somebody is in danger. However, most people do get found within 24 hours of being lost. However, it's really, really important with that to tell people where the hot heck you are going. Because if people don't know that you're somewhere and you get lost, how are they going to know where to find you? So it's really, really important that whenever you go somewhere, tell somebody, make a plan of some sort. I mean, on weekends, whenever I go for a trail run somewhere, I always tell my husband, hey, I'm going up to the trails at Greenbush. I'm planning on running this many miles. I should be back in this many hours. And then if I'm not, he'll call me. And usually it's just because I'm staring at a really cool rock or something and I got sidetracked. But always tell somebody where you're going. It's just really so much safer that way. I would hate for anything to happen to you guys. So your assignment with this, to start off with, and we'll have a couple more assignments next week because next week is our last week. Oh my God. Um, you need to research items that would go in a survival kit for a backpacking expedition. However, your budget is going to be $100 because we ain't made a no monies, right? So we need to have a budget. So I want you to find items online and make a Google Doc and put in prices and where to buy each item. So even if you just go on Amazon, take screenshots of everything, like bonus points, whatever. And everything that you have in that thing should fit into a small backpack. So don't put like something ridiculous, like a baby elephant. I don't know. Make it realistic, okay? So the things that are in my kit, so like when I go out west, if I'm going on a day-long backpacking by myself, I always have my fire starter necklace that's really, really similar to the ones I got you guys. I always have a space blanket, which are like I mean, I got mine for free at the end of a race. There's those like those silver blankets they put on you. Depending on the way that you flip it, one will keep heat inside and one will reflect the heat. When I go out west, I always have bear spray with me because bears. Trail mix, I always have some snacks because I've eaten worms before, but they're not the best. So, trail mix is just better in my opinion. Having a fishing kit is actually really, really helpful. It's better than having like a snare trap, and all you need is like a little hook, a little stick, and then you wrap some fishing line around it, and it's like all you need to go fishing, which is pretty cool. Duct tape. So I don't have any around this water bottle, but actually one of the reasons why I have a metal water bottle that I always carry with me, even when I'm backpacking and it's really heavy, is if I would get lost and I need to make a fire, I can boil water in this, right? It's steel. Okay. So that's one of the reasons why I actually have a metal water bottle, besides the fact that, I mean, they're popular, I guess. Visco girls save the turtles. I don't know. Is that over? Is that still a thing? I don't know. But what you can do, duct tape, not metal water bottles. Instead of stickers all over like I do on everything I own, you can actually wrap duct tape around it. And then you always have duct tape because you can always peel it off. So kind of a cool thing. A mini first aid kit, like a couple band-aids, tweezers, neosporin, different things like that. Carry matches with you, really, really helpful to have. They do make little cases for waterproof matches, which are also really nice. Having a whistle, so that's just something a lot of people have in a keychain anyway, and paracord. Because with that paracord, you can tie things together, you can make snares. If you can't find kindling, you can actually pull it apart and make little fluffy kindling to start fires with. Lots of different things you can do with paracord. So make sure to go into your assignments and make your virtual survival kit, and those will be due next week. So have fun with it. Do a little bit of research. It should be kind of cool.